and welcome to tonight's Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Let me introduce some members of town government that assist this board. To my left is Mark Simon, Assistant Town Attorney. To his left is Blaise Donadio, Senior Planner in the Planning Department. You're all here tonight seeking relief from the Smithtown zoning ordinances, and it's our job to try to help you achieve the relief you are requesting whenever possible. It's up to you to provide this board with precise and accurate information so we can make a decision based on the facts presented. This board must consider the 5 area variance considerations in order to render a decision, and they are as follows. They're listed up there for you and also over here. Number 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the variance. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. Number 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial. Number 4, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. And number 5, whether the alleged difficulty is self-created. Procedures for tonight's meeting. Cases will be called in the order they are advertised. When you are called, please present your certificates of postings or mailings to Mr. Donadio if you haven't done so already. Then you'll be asked to go to the podium, where you'll state your name and address for the record, and then proceed to tell us why you need your variance. At the end of your presentation, if anyone in the audience would like to speak on your case, they will be given one opportunity to do so. Then the applicant can go back to the podium to answer their concerns. Once the public hearing is closed, no further information will be accepted concerning the case. There are 2 ways to find out about your case. You can call the planning office tomorrow after 12 p.m., or you can wait to be notified by mail.
Can you pass this to Ed? There's an adjournment.
We have one adjournment tonight.
Yeah, it's there. It's on the back.
The adjourned case is case 19041. Fontana?
On the back. Yes.
It's already adjourned to
They're
26.
requesting to be adjourned to 3:26.
Already on the back, it's already adjourned.
Yeah, it was written incorrectly.
All right. Mr. Fontana, you're requesting an adjournment to March 26th. Yeah.
It's good? Okay, I'm
We're good.
sorry. All right. Thank you. The first case on the agenda, case number 19022, Mary Perchacki, 23 Pond Road, Smithtown. The location of the property, the north side of 3 Pond Road, 273 feet east of Pond Path. The property is zoned R43. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 24 feet to 5 feet, to reduce the total side yards from 60 feet to 29 feet, to increase the maximum height from 15 feet to 22 feet, to reduce the lot area due to environmentally sensitive lands from 43,740 square feet to 28,040 square feet, to increase the permitted gross floor area within the LWRP from 4,402 square feet to 4,729 square feet for a proposed 650 square foot detached garage.
Good evening.
Good evening. Frank Bachacki, 23 Pond Road, Smithtown. We have some revised drawings that we didn't get to you guys on disc, but I have here. We were reducing the roof height of the detached garage to 18 feet instead of the 22 feet that was proposed to match the existing structure. And also, the drawings reflect that we currently have mature plantings all around the area where the new garage is going. Those plantings are to remain, so there's not going to be any disruption to, any of the landscape. It'll still be shielded from the neighbors, and everything will still be green. There's a couple of bushes that are there now. They're being relocated, so we can get the structure built.
Okay. The new drawings that you had,
Yes.
did you submit those to the planning department yet?
We just got these from the architect yesterday.
Okay.
We discussed this with the planning department, that these were the changes we were gonna make for this hearing, because these were some issues that I think were brought up on the last hearing.
Is that a copy for us?
It is, yes.
Could I? This way we'll get it into the record.
Yes. Nothing, like I said, nothing's changed with the
Okay.
exception of the noted.
Okay,
I
fine.
mentioned.
Everybody want to take a look?
Tony and I can look. Want this, Rick?
All right. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
I don't think so.
You want to look at this?
Any questions, Tony?
The only question I had, so just to verify, your only difference from the call of the meeting is the increase the max height from 15 to 22 has been reduced to 18?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And then also that all the bushes were staying that are currently there, all the plantings, we're not disrupting any of the existing, and we'll probably wind up adding some more, but we gotta get through this first.
Thank you.
All right. Planning?
I just wanted the board to be aware that the only reason they had to come back was because there was a variance missed the first time around, because they're actually located within the LWRP, and their total gross floor area exceeded what's permitted within the LWRP. They had to come back before the board for that variance, and that's the variance that goes from 4402 to 4729. Otherwise, they could have submitted the revised plan showing the lower roof height, and that would have been fine.
Okay, thank you. Sabrina?
Mr. Chairman, DEW doesn't have any new comments to add since the last hearing.
Fine, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? No? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second?
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
I know. You have it? Don't come back. All right, so if you want to just make yourself a little note, or just make a note on the Yeah.
All right.
All good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. The next two cases are for two properties that are within a subdivision. Would you like to handle the two of them together?
Do the two together.
Okay. So the first case is case number 19068, Parsonage Road Properties Limited, 57 Gibbs Pond Road, Wisconsin. The location is the east side of Gibbs Pond Road, 174 feet south of Michael Place. The property is zoned R15. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 16 feet to 14 feet, to reduce the total side yards from 34 feet to 28 feet for an existing 2,989 square foot, two-story single-family dwelling with 460 square foot attached garage. And the second application is case number 19069. Again, Parsonage Road Properties Limited. 59 Gibbs Pond Road, Nesconset. The location is the east side of Gibbs Pond Road, 260 feet south of Michael Place. It is zoned R15, and the applicant is asking for variances to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 16 feet to 14 feet, and to reduce the total side yards from 34 feet to 30 feet for an existing 2,989 square foot, two-story single-family dwelling with 460 square foot attached garage.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. I've submitted the affidavits of posting and mailing to Mr. Donadio. As Mr. Donadio indicated, this was a subdivision that we did a few years ago. And as you can see, this two-lot subdivision is on Gibbs Pond Road. It's a very busy, I believe, connector street. So my client, after thinking about it, would like to move the house back a little further from Gibbs Pond Road. That causes the side yard to be non-conforming from 16 to 14 feet. If you look at the plot plan on the screen, it's about 86 feet on Gibbs Pond, each lot, and it goes down to 72 or 73 feet in the back. So it narrows down in the back, and that creates the request for the 2-foot reduction in both lots. We feel that this is better for the character of the area, as the lot will be further back and the houses will be further back from Gibbs Pond Road. We don't feel that it would have an adverse effect on the area or on the environment, as these are 2 new houses and will be subject to all the health department requirements. Was it self-created? We did do a subdivision, and we thought that it would be best to maintain the side yards, but after thinking about it, we felt that moving the house back would be better than having a smaller side yard. So we ask the board for its favorable consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina?
No, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
This is the first one.
Oh, he was missing one? Okay, just make a note of that.
This is the second one.
Second one?
The next case on the agenda is case number 19071, June and Peter Mitchko, 16 Carriage Drive, Kings Park. The location of the property is the north side of Carriage Drive, 108 feet west of Landview Drive. The property is owned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 12 feet to 1 foot, to reduce the total side yards from 28 feet to 12 feet, for an existing 78 square foot wood shed and 100 square foot gazebo. Reduce the minimum setback of a 1-foot retaining wall from the property line from 3 feet to 0 for wall A. Reduce the minimum setback of a 1-foot retaining wall from the property line from 3 feet to 2 feet for wall B. Reduce the minimum setback of a 4-foot retaining wall from the property line from 4 feet to 0 for wall C. Increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the front yard from 25% to 30%, and increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the side yard from 25% to 27% for existing asphalt paving.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is June Mitchko, 16 Carriage Drive, Kings Park.
And I'm Peter Mitchko, our husband.
Hey,
Hi. We're requesting pre-existing,
why don't you pull that mic down so we can hear you?
these are pre-existing, we were just here to legalize or legitimize these,
These are all,
they have already been done.
okay.
Yeah, unknowingly.
Did you
done.
just purchase the house? or-
No, we bought the house 30 years ago.
Oh.
Pretty much everything that's there has been in place close to 20 to 25 years. And we're just, legitimizing them.
Okay. You're just trying to legalize
You
it.
legalize them,
Exactly,
yeah.
yes.
Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
Looks like the retaining walls are the ones that are on your property,
Correct.
so that
Correct.
you're the ones that are,
Yes.
Impacted
They're
by
not
it,
on a
yeah.
property line, they're reduced onto our property line.
I'm sorry, they're not on the property line. I have to hear you.
No, they're not on they're in the backyard, they're not on a property line.
thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
You own the house when these changes were made originally 25 years ago?
No, we bought the house and then we added these changes many years ago, and we're just trying to legalize those now.
How did it come to pass that you didn't apply at the time?
We were unaware that we needed to do so.
No, thank you.
Any other questions? Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is case number 19074, Emily Honigman, Emily Honigman, 8 Roseville Avenue, St. James. The location of the property is the south side of Roseville Avenue, 275 feet west of Lake Avenue. The property is zoned R21. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 50 feet to 38 feet, to reduce the minimum rear yard setback from 75 feet to 35 feet, to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 16 feet to 15 feet, and to reduce the total side yards from 34 feet to 31 feet for proposed 414 square foot second-story addition.
Good evening.
Hi, my name's Emily Honigman, 8 Roseville Avenue, St. James, and I'm going to have my architect, Ralph Michelle, speak on my behalf.
Fine, thank you.
Hi there, I'm Ralph Michelle. How are you?
Good. Ralph, could you just state your name, spell your last name so we get it correct on the record, and your address, please?
Ralph Michelle, and it's Michele, 7 Old Landers Court, Smithtown, New York, 11787.
Thank you.
So the property is an existing non-conforming lot. So even though it's R21 zone, it was built before the zoning code. So we are not adding to the square footage of the property from the lot standpoint. We're only just going straight up over the garage. So we don't meet the zoning requirements because everything on this street doesn't meet the R21 zone. So we did kind of cause this ourselves, but then again, the lot doesn't allow us to do basically anything. And it's not going to,
You're not changing the footprint.
not changing the footprint, no. So it just, see if you look on the bottom left-hand corner and the top, you're going to see it's just squaring off the garage. That's it.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second?
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
The next case on the agenda, case number 19075, Shayna and George Condalis, 63 Gannett Drive, Comac. The location of the property is the northeast corner of Gannett Drive and Gannett Court. The property is zoned R15. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 45 feet to 15 feet on Gannett Court for a proposed 20-foot by 36-foot in-ground swimming pool, to reduce the front yard setback from lot line from 10 feet to 0 on Gannett Court for a proposed 6-foot vinyl fence.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Michael Palumba, architect, 80 Elizabeth Drive, Bethpage, New York, appearing on behalf of Shayna and George Condalis of 63 Gannett Drive, Comac, New York. We're requesting a variance for a proposed 20 by 36 in-ground swimming pool, along with pool filter and heater, which is located in R15 zone, which does not have the minimum required front yard setback of 45 feet along Gannett Circle, proposing a front yard setback of 15 feet. This is a corner lot property, and as you can see on the site plan that was submitted for this application, this is the only feasible location for the proposed pool. We're also requesting a variance to install a 6-foot-high vinyl fence, which exceeds the 4-foot maximum, which is permitted along the front yard, along Gannett Circle. And as you can see in the photos that were submitted to the board, there will be no obstructions to any neighboring driveways or any sight lines along Gannett Circle or Gannett Drive. The property is well maintained, and the proposed pool and fence will be consistent with the character of the neighborhood, especially corner lot properties. That completes our application.
All right, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
The only question I have is the fence, I guess, along Gannett Drive. Are you asking for a reduction in the setback for the fence there?
Initially, we filed it with a 6-foot proposed fence. I believe that the building department didn't correctly list that on the variance request, so it was, incorrectly noted, but we did submit that with a 6-foot request. So we could amend the.
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I don't see a request for that, but I see it on the drawing.
Right. It was, initially it was filed that way, but it was not picked up by the building department. So at this time, as not to hold up the application, we would respectfully request that the application be presented as I did, with a 4-foot fence that would be 45 feet, I believe, from the property line.
And then you could come
And
back.
then we can come back and amend it. Maybe we can, file an amendment prior, but at least we get on the schedule for the in-ground pool for the springtime.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Excuse me. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second?
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, case number 19076, Thomas Amodio, 40 Wesleyan Road, Comac. The location of the property is the south side of Wesleyan Court, Wesleyan Road, 310 feet west of Chatham Road. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 12 feet to 0 to reduce the total side yards from 28 feet to 0 for an existing outdoor kitchen with 138 square foot pergola above, an existing 163 square foot wood shed, and existing 49 square foot vinyl shed. To increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the required northwest side yard from 25 feet to 41 feet, to increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the required southeast side yard from 25 feet to 77, so 25% to 77%, to increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the required rear yard from 25% to 29% for existing paving, to reduce the distance from a lot line from 1 foot to 0 for existing paving in the side yards, to reduce the distance from any rear lot line from 6 feet to 1 foot for an existing pond.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Thomas Amadio from 40 Wesleyan Road, Comac, New York. Have Ashley Lowe from Mark Anthony's going to speak on my behalf.
Okay, fine, thank you. Again, could you state your name for the record, spell it so we get it straight, and give your address, please?
Yes. My name is Ashley Lowe from Mark Anthony Architects. Last name is Lowe, L-O-W-E. Our office is located at 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, New York.
Okay.
Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Chairman. We are here tonight to maintain the construction of an existing outdoor kitchen with pergola above, existing wood shed, vinyl shed, rear yard overpaving, side yards overpaving, and the existing pond. The existing outdoor kitchen with pergola above does not meet the minimum required side yard setback of 12 feet or the minimum total required of 28 feet. The existing outdoor kitchen with pergola above consists of 2 separate countertops. The countertop closest to the house consists of a pizza oven, countertop workspace, and storage cabinets underneath. The countertop closest to the side property line consists of a sink and countertop workspace and a bar top entertaining area. It is important to note that there is no cooking or open flames under the pergola. The pergola above is situated above the bar top countertop only and does not exist above the pizza oven. The structure exists directly on the southeasterly side property line and requires 12 feet of relief from the single side yard. Both the existing wood shed and the existing frame shed also do not meet the minimum required side yard setback of 12 feet, requiring 12 feet of relief for the single side. The 2 existing sheds and the outdoor kitchen require 28 feet of relief from the total side yard setback. In addition to this request, we would also like to request allowance to maintain these existing structures in the side yard where it does not allow. Both the northwest and the southwest side yards exceed the maximum permitted paved surface of 25% at 41 and 77% respectively. We are requesting relief of 16% and 52%. The paved surfaces on the northwest side yard consist of a paver walkway providing access to the rear yard, a masonry pad for the existing wood shed, and a paved area behind the fence for the household garbage cans, all of which are on grade. The paved surfaces on the southeast side provide a small on-grade patio servicing the aforementioned existing outdoor kitchen with pergola above, as well as access to the rear yard. Additionally, these 2 side yard paved surfaces do not meet the required minimum setback of 1 foot. We would also like to request relief of 1 foot, making the setback 0. The rear yard permitted paved surface exceeds the maximum allowed at 25% at 29%, for which we are requesting 4% of relief. The rear yard paved surface includes a modest paver patio around the existing in-ground pool and hot tub. Lastly, the existing pond structure does not meet the minimum required 6-foot lot line setback. We are requesting the pond to remain at a setback of 1.3 feet, requiring 4.7 feet of relief from the code. We would like to additionally note that this is the setback to the outermost edge of the pond surround only. The surface of the water begins about 1.5 feet from the outermost edge of the pond surround. The subject property is located along a curve which creates an irregular pie-shaped lot narrowing towards the rear. Because of the irregular pie shape of the lot, the width of the rear yard is considerably smaller than the width of the lot at the street frontage, limiting the possibilities for the location of these structures. That concludes our requests at this time.
Okay. How deep's the pond?
4 feet.
4 feet?
4 feet, sir.
Like a koi pond?
Koi pond. Yes, sir.
I have a photo if you'd like it.
Not necessary, I just want to know how deep it was.
Yeah.
It started out as a tub, and then my fish got bigger and bigger, so I tried to accommodate them.
Pretty soon they'll be in the pool.
I have some koi that are almost 2 feet long.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Does anyone on the board have any questions?
No.
No, thank you.
The building department has noted that a portion of the existing rear PVC fence encroaches up to 2 feet onto the neighboring residential parcel to the southwest. DEW recommends the removal or legalization of this encroachment. Lastly, to ensure full compliance with our environmental review, we wish to consider information presented by the applicant and any comments from the public before making a recommendation to the board. Therefore, no decision will be made tonight.
Thank you. Did you understand that?
Yes, I believe she's referencing the comment that was made at the end of the variance paperwork. The 6-foot fence encroaching into neighbor's yard is to be removed. It'll be legalized.
You're gonna have to move it back onto your own property.
Yes, it'll be legalized onto the subject property.
Southeast corner,
Southwest.
southwest.
In the southwest corner. I'll show you.
Okay. But I might not have put that one in.
He'll have to move it or you'll have to move it. It
Okay,
doesn't matter.
that's fine.
All
Okay.
right?
Anything
And
else?
the environmental people want to read the minutes of the meeting, so there'll be no action on your case tonight.
Okay, no
All right?
problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Have a motion to close the application, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
I'm next too.
What's that?
I'm doing the next hearing also.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is case number 19077, Antonio Ferro, 25 Peacock Lane, Comac. The location of the property is the south side of Peacock Lane, 195 feet east of Finch Court. The property is zoned R15. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum rear yard setback from 60 feet to 25 feet for a proposed 435 square foot rear first floor addition.
Good evening. How you doing? My name is Antonio Ferro, and I'm at 25 Peacock Lane, and my wife Dorothy Ferro's here, and Ashley from Mark Anthony's office is handling.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Do you want me to spell my name again?
No, we have it on the record.
Okay. Good evening again. My name is Ashley Lowe from Mark Anthony Architects. Our office is located at 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, New York. I am here tonight on behalf of my clients, Antonio and Dorothy Ferro, who are the owners and occupants of the subject property located at 25 Peacock Lane in Comac, New York. Tonight, we are here as a result of an application for a proposed rear first floor addition and proposed roof over. The proposed rear first floor addition does not meet the minimum required rear yard setback of 60 feet, having a rear yard setback of 25 feet, requiring 35 feet of relief. This is our only request. I can answer any questions that the board may have at this time.
Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
What is the proposed use for the extension?
A family room. A family room?
Planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina?
Mr. Chairman, to ensure full compliance with our environmental review, we wish to consider information presented by the applicant and any comments from the public before making a recommendation to the board. Therefore, no decision will be made tonight.
Shall be no decision on this case tonight also. Okay. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
At all. Yeah. The next case on the agenda, case number 19078, Patrick Murphy, 19 Radburn Drive, Comac. The location of the property is the east side of Radburn Drive, 798 feet north of Summers Lane. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 12 feet to 6 feet for an existing 120 square foot wood shed.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Murphy, 19 Radburn Drive, Comac, New York, 11725. I'm requesting the setback for the shed that I built in 2012. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this paperwork that I have. Bring it to you.
You're supposed to hand it in. I don't,
You can give them to them if you want.
I don't see the shed on the survey you submitted. You just pointed out?
This is Radburn Drive?
Yeah.
Okay, it'll be right on the south side, right on the south side of the property. I submitted, there is a picture of it, I drew it in.
It doesn't appear to be on yours. It doesn't appear to be on yours.
Yeah, yeah. I have the only one without the shed on.
Good catch, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina?
No, thank
No?
you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Come on up. Good evening.
Good evening to the board. My name is Roseanne Skepa. I live at 17 Radburn Drive. He is my next door neighbor, actually. I'm on the south side of him. This structure is divided by a fence between my yard and his yard. It causes no obstruction. It's a nice-looking, well-maintained shed. We have never had a problem with it, and we've never had an issue. And that's all I'm done with my statement.
Okay.
That's it. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
SCEPPA. Thank you. Okay.
Is there anybody else in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, case number 19070, 89 East East 89 Main, Smithtown LLC. 89-91 East Main Street. The location of the property is the north side of East Main Street, 164 feet east of Landing Avenue. The property is zoned CB. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum front yard setback from 10 feet to 0, to reduce the minimum required parking from 28 to 9 spaces, 4 proposed 635 square foot facade alteration with front additions of 27 square feet and 33 square feet.
Good evening.
Good evening, Chair and members of the board. My name is Mel Gonzalez, architect, MIG Architect, PLLC, with offices at 200 Corporate Plaza, Islander, New York.
Excuse me, did you submit the power of attorney?
Yes, I have that, and I also have a copy here.
Did you submit it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take a look at it. Yep.
I don't think that's a power of attorney.
Is it good?
All right.
Good?
Okay.
Okay. So I'm here on behalf of the Huntington Learning Center and the Smithtown Running Company, which are tenants for the building. I'd like to point out first that the first variance, which is to reduce the minimum front yard from 10 feet to 0 feet, with respect to the variance and the points, the proposed project is consistent with the existing adjacent properties and the buildings next to it. What we're actually doing is aligning the facade with the building right next door, which is brick, and we're going to actually match that building so it's consistent. So in terms of reducing it to the 0, it is in line or in keeping with the town's previous approvals in terms of variances. With request to reduce the parking from 28 spaces to 9 spaces. The property right now, there was an agreement with the town, and if you look at the survey, it was there was an easement that was granted to this town of Smithtown for the purpose of maintaining public parking and available to the public as the town sees fit. The proposed addition, which equates to 60.1 square feet, is minimal, and if we do the calculations, it only requires 0.40 parking stalls. So it is absolutely de minimis. I'd also like to point out that the existing building, which is a non-conforming use, is grandfathered in. So as I stated, with respect to the parking, 0.40 requirement is very, very small. With respect to any other alternative, there really isn't any other alternative to address these variances. And as far as the impact to the neighborhood or the community, the proposed scope of work being so small, it really wouldn't have an impact. We're actually just projecting out ever so slightly in terms of the footprint, so it's consistent with the building next door. And although the last item, although the proposed action, one could say it's self-created, it is still in keeping with the previously approved variances in the area.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank
I have a question. Just wondering what the utilization of the 28 spaces is. Are they routinely half taken, a quarter taken?
Pardon? Say again?
What's the utilization of the current 28 spaces? Are they usually all filled or half filled in the middle of the day?
Oh, I guess it depends on, at night, when it's a Friday night, I'm sure it's full, but during the day, not really. It's a town parking lot, and like I stated earlier, the existing building and actually existing use hasn't had an issue, and with adding that minimal square footage, I don't think that's going to affect anything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina?
Thank you.
Nothing. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second?
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Oh, here's another one. Here.
Oops. One more, Paul.
Thank you.
you very much. The next case on the agenda, case number 19079, Hampton Inn, 680 Comac Road, Comac. The location of the property is the east side of Comac Road, 600 feet south of Henry Street. The property is zoned LI. The applicant is requesting variances to increase the maximum height of a wall sign from 15 feet to 53 feet for proposed 109 square foot illuminated wall sign, known as sign number 1, to increase the number of ground signs from a maximum of 1 per parcel to 3 per parcel for sign numbers 3, 4, and 5, to increase the number of wall signs from a maximum of 1 to 2 signs for sign numbers 1 and 2.
Good evening.
Good evening. Christina Bravin, Bravin, Morano Expediting, 2938 Hempstead Turnpike, Levittown, New York. All good? Okay.
Yep.
So we are requesting permission to increase the height of a wall sign from 15 feet to 53 feet. The current Hampton Inn sign was granted approval for 41 feet overall height, and that is to be removed and replaced with a new style, 48 inches by 27 feet, 11 inches. They are removing the old logo, and it'll be a single line format versus a double line format. So the additional height is necessary because they're going to be redoing the entire facade and changing up the design, and so they just would like to move that up a little bit to incorporate for the facade renovation. And it'll also provide some more visibility from the LIE. The increase in number of ground signs from 1 to 3, all of those are actually existing. They'll just be refurbishing what's there, so there's no change in location, size, height, illumination, nothing. Just a refurbish. Okay. And the increase of wall signs from 1 to 2, so there is one existing. The only additional sign is a small welcome sign, and that is depicted as sign number 2. If you have the survey or the aerial photo, that's called out as sign number 2. It faces west, and it's on the I don't know if you can change the photo if you have it in front of you, but sign number 2 is just on the, not on the facade, but on the drive-up area, the welcome. There you go, so sign number 2. It's that little dot. It's not on the main facade, it's just on the drive-up area. That's a welcome sign, 6 square feet. So that'll be on the canopy. And again, all the other signs are existing. There's no increase to what's already there. It's just on paper filing for that increase. If you have any questions, I have the plans here. I'm happy to answer.
The height of the building is the same. You're just changing the facade in the front?
Right, right. They're just changing the facade design, and the height of the building is
58.
so small. I think it's 58, 55. Let me look at the big plan.
I think it says 58.
Is 58 the big one? Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to see on the small one. So they'd like to raise that up to 53.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Sabrina? Nothing. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second?
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. 19073.
The only one I have left is this one.
Hey, Blaze, we don't have these in the,
7.3 and 7.2, are they both being adjourned?
7, no.
Okay,
And
the next one I
saw them
have-
in the box earlier.
Oh, I got them, sorry.
new guy.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
never mind. They slipped down.
New guy.
They slipped
Yep.
down, okay, 19.
New guy, see that?
Yeah, new guy, thanks.
All righty. The next case on the agenda, case number 19073, 2092 Holdings LLC, 2092 Jericho Turnpike, Comac. The location of the property is the south side of Jericho Turnpike, 406 feet west of Walter Court. The property is zoned WSI. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum setback for a ground sign from a property line from 5 feet to 3 feet, to increase the maximum area of a ground sign from 40 square feet to 63 square feet for an existing ground sign, to increase the number of ground signs from a maximum of 1 per parcel to 2.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. I've submitted the affidavits of posting and mailing to Mr. Donadio. I guess some of you would be familiar with this building. Originally, it was owned, well, it's still owned by part of the Bonvicino family, and it's Barbara Tuhami now that owns the building. It used to be Holiday Swimming Pools in the early 70s. And that sign that we're asking the board for the variance has been up for approximately 50-something years. We realize that there are 2 signs on the property, but I asked the board to consider a couple of things. One is the property is approximately 150 feet across on Jericho Turnpike, and it's WSI zoned, and the zoning requires a minimum of 50 feet at the street line and 100 feet at the setback line, so we're 50 feet larger than the required width of a particular WSI property. The reason for the sign is this type of a building does not permit or allow with any type of usefulness wall signs. So we needed a directory sign. That directory sign happens to be there for the last 50 years, and we use that to denote the different tenants that are in that building. I'd like to also call your attention to Bowler, which is a couple of 100 feet away, not even, and that Bowler sign, it's the convenience store part of the Bowler gas station business. That sign is probably at least 80 or 100 square feet. And also the Tim Hortons, which is down the block a little bit east, that has, that facility has 3 signs. So considering the area right there, we don't feel it would have an adverse effect on the character of the area. The sign is up there, you can see it. Whether the applicant could achieve this by any other method, the type of rentals that are generally sold in that area are professional. There is a probable car dealer that may come in there, but it doesn't take up the entire building. So the only way we can get rentals is to be able to show the public that there is a lawyer there, there's a real estate, a weight loss place, whatever that use is. So we asked the board for its favorable consideration. We don't think it would have an adverse impact on the environment. Obviously, the building is there, it's been there a long time, we're not changing anything. And so we asked the board for its favorable consideration. I have Barbara Tuhami here, who is the owner of the LLC, if you have any other questions.
You said something about an auto dealership?
I'm sorry?
You said something about an auto dealership?
No, I said, well, there was a, not an auto dealership, a used car dealer that was there.
Was there?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
I just wanted to, for the record, the proposed sign is going to be put in at,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
the proposed sign is going to be put in at the setback, will meet the setback requirement?
It's in, we're asking for, I think, a 2-foot.
No, I think you're asking for the 2 foot for the existing sign,
Yeah.
correct? And there's a proposed sign for the real estate?
No, it's all for the same sign.
No, I think there's two different
Not
signs.
Barbara?
That meets the 5-foot setback.
Okay, that was my,
Good evening, Chairperson, members of the board. The proposed sign, there's a permit for the smaller sign for the real estate, and it does meet the setback. It's not installed yet, but we have a permit for it.
okay.
Thank
That
you.
was my question.
You just introduce yourself so we can get
Yes.
you on the record, please?
Sure. Barbara Bonvicino Tuhami, 2092 Holdings LLC.
Could you spell your last name, please?
Touhamy.
Thank you. All right, Tom?
Yep.
Okay. Planning?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I believe that the site does have an approved site plan. And if you look at the site plan that's up on the screen, you'll notice that on the west side of the property, there appears to be approval for curbing with landscaping running along the paper street, which, the name of that is Smith Lane. The existing site does not conform with that site plan. There is no curbing, and there is no landscaping on the western portion of the site. And planning would just recommend that before approving any variances, that you would take that into consideration and perhaps even condition that these site be brought into compliance with what's been previously approved.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing? Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
carried. Thank you.
Here you go.
Good, all right. The next case on the agenda, case number 19072, 295 Osir Avenue LLC. 295 Osir Avenue in Hop Hog, the location of the property, the south side of Osir Avenue, 701 feet west of Adams Avenue. The property is zoned LI. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum setback of an accessory structure from rear and side yards from 10 feet to 5 feet, to increase the maximum height of an accessory structure from 18 feet to 24 feet for a proposed 7,475 square foot tent with electric, to increase the maximum height of outdoor lighting fixtures from 18 feet to 22 feet for existing light poles.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Rick Garrett from 295 Osir Avenue in Hop Hog, New York.
Okay.
Good evening, Board Chair.
Go ahead.
No, we need the light poles are also the fixtures that hold the tenting that we were required, or netting that was required around the property. So in order for the lights to shine through, we had to put them on top of the poles. That's the difference for the lights to be raised up.
This is a athletic facility,
Yes, it's an athletic training facility for kids,
young kids?
young kids.
Okay.
We go from the age of 6 through
This is the
18,
revised.
sometimes 20.
Sometimes 20. They're gonna hit the top of that,
Yeah, they're only inside, they're just
Yeah,
there
that's
to
right.
have a catch.
oh,
That's it. There's no hitting.
no swinging away, huh?
No,
Okay.
for the safety of our own cars.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No,
No,
thank you.
thank you.
Paul, anything?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
Planning?
Just a few things, Mr. Chairman. First, as you are aware, this case was actually submitted a couple of months ago, if I'm not mistaken. You and I had gone to take a look at the site at that time. The ball field had already been established per the previous approval. There were no accessory structures in the outside field area. This past Monday, we did do an inspection of the site, and the tent has been erected on the site without building permits, without previous Board of Zoning Appeals variance approvals. Additionally, the applicant's architect had submitted revised plans, I believe yesterday afternoon, which were shown on the screen, showing an approximate 5,900 square foot tent. However, that plan does not match what is currently existing on the site. Matt, if you could bring up the other site plan, please.
The revised ones, let's go through it.
Currently, there is a tent on site that is approximately 74, 75, maybe 7,600 square feet. Planning recommends that if the board is considering approving the application, that the application be approved to the revised plans submitted, indicating a 5,400 square foot tent. And that's it.
I believe another set of plans, I will check with Chris Tartaglia, was submitted.
So I guess my question would be, the tent that is there?
Because the
is
original one was
7,500,
9,000
Yes.
square feet.
And the tent that they're requesting in the variance is 7,500.
But they're showing plans of a 5,900 square foot tent. So the issue with this is primarily, it has to do with fire marshal code requirements. The larger tent with the smaller setbacks, if I'm not mistaken, does not meet the fire marshal code requirements. And that's why the smaller tent, the revised plans indicates a smaller tent that complies with the fire marshal requirements. So that's where the problem lies.
The larger tent is up.
Yes.
And that was put up because they had to modify it from the original 9,000 square foot, 9,500 square foot, to bring it down to 7,500 square feet, which we were told, or below that, to meet the requirements. So the plans that I believe was submitted, Chris is not here tonight, was for 7,500 square feet.
Which originally were submitted.
Right, they were,
But
okay.
yesterday afternoon, we received another set of revised plans showing a smaller tent.
I did not know about that.
Yes. So I just caution the board that before they approve anything, that they know exactly what it is that they're approving.
Definitely.
I thought it was 7,500 and we had to hold off on the 2 parking spots. That's the notes I have. I
Well,
don't have.
do you want to talk to your architect and whatever?
Yes,
And figure out which plans are the permanent plans,
that would help.
please?
So
So-
do we leave it open?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll leave it open.
You'll have to give it an
A date.
adjournment date.
We'll Won't take long, that's for sure.
March 12th? We'll
Okay.
adjourn it to March 12th.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
Was there anyone in the audience wanted to be heard on this application? No? Okay. It's been adjourned to March 12th.
That's all right.
We got more coming.
John.
Howdy.
How are you, John? Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son
You can
was
read
father.
The next case on the agenda, case number 19053, 5 Crooked Hill LLC, also known as The Shade Shop, 5 Crooked Hill Road, Comac. The location of the property, the east side of Crooked Hill Road, 116 feet south of Rodney Street. The property is zoned NB. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum required parking spaces from 16 to 9 for a proposed change of use from office to retail with interior alterations.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is John Zolo, 12 Manor Road, Smithtown, New York, on behalf of the applicant, 5 Crooked Hill Road. And I provided the affidavit posting, the mailing receipts, and the affidavit of mailing. So this is an application on behalf of Joyce Cucciaro, who's the owner and sole member of 5 Crooked Hill Road, LLC, and also the owner of Shade Shop, which is the tenant there. Joyce bought the property in September of 2023, and just for the record, it's tax map number 800-173-136. The lot area is 6,400 square feet, .147 acres. The property is zoned shopping center business. My client bought the property to put in a showroom for her window treatments. There have been several tenants at the property, and we're here tonight for a variance for parking reduced from 16 to 9. So just a little history. The property had an existing commercial office from 1988 to 2004 with an approved site plan which had 10 parking stalls. Then there was a change of use in 2004 for a personal fitness training center with a site plan exemption with the 10 parking stalls. And then it was taken in 2007 to be used as a dentist's office with a site plan exemption with 10 parking stalls. My client is doing interior alterations, not doing anything outside, but I think what happened is part of the review process, the town realized that because the handicap, they need additional handicap parking. So the 10 stalls that had been on the site plan for all these other uses, they realized it should be 9 because you have to do we have to increase the size of the handicap parking stalls, so we're going to lose 1 stall. Not because of any work that my client is doing at the property. Everything that's being done there is inside, but it affects how the handicap parking is affected by that. It should have been picked up years ago, but it wasn't. So all prior site plans were approved by the town with 10 stalls. She's not changing the configuration of the building or the parking stalls. It's just, again, because the handicap parking requirements, which were in place for at least 20-plus years, the town realized that it should be the variances from 16 to 9, not 16 to existing 10. So just a brief explanation of the business. Joyce bought the property. She had a window treatment business, and she bought the building to move to this location. And it's not a retail store where you can go buy window treatments. It's a showroom where you can see what you can select the type of things you want, and then it's custom window treatments. Joyce or her son Nicholas will go to the homeowner's house or to the business and take care of measuring, and everything is ordered. So it's not a typical retail store. So the parking that's there, which is adequate for a gym, adequate for a dentist's office, adequate for an office back in 2007, will be fine. There's no changes to the exterior of the building, no expansion, everything is inside. And typically, Joy will have at the site one person who's a salesperson who's in the office, and then Joy, her son Nicholas, and another installer typically will work off-site and maybe come back at some point to do whatever they have to do for paperwork. But typically, you're not going to have a lot of retail customers coming to the store. There's not going to be a problem with parking. There hasn't been a problem with parking at the site. So that's the variance. Again, none of this is done. My client hasn't created it. It's just the existing condition that was, the site's not being altered in any way. And Joyce Kuchau is here just to give you, if you have any questions about her business and how it's going to be run, I thought she could just tell you a few words about how long she's been in business and how she runs this showroom. So Joy, you just want to come up, you have to give your name and address.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Joyce Ann Cacharo, owner of 5 Crooked Hill Road, Comac.
Okay, can you just spell your last name so we get it
Sure.
correct?
Cucchiaro.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, so basically, it's just a showroom where I go to people's homes. I have some customers that said that they've never been in my showroom ever. But I do like to have something where I can get my deliveries. If somebody wants to see the window treatments, what they look like, they can come and see them.
And how many employees do you have?
I have 4 employees,
Okay.
and we come and go. We only have one in the office at a time.
All right.
That's it.
Unless anyone has any questions, I think with respect to the 5-prong test, we meet those conditions. And I ask the board to look favorably upon the application and grant this requested variance for parking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Right.
No, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? No. Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second?
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good night.
Motion carries. Good night.
Is that everything? Nope.
And that concludes the public portion of our meeting for tonight. The first case on the agenda tonight was case number 19022, Mary Pachecky.
Case 19022, Mary Prochacki. I'll make a motion to approve all of the variances.
You don't have a secret.
You don't have a secret,
Oh.
and you don't have LWRP.
Oh,
Oh,
Letting you know.
so no action.
Correct.
we're not doing anything.
So case 19022, Mary Pachecky, no action. The next case is case number 19068, Parsonage Road Properties Limited.
I had a question on this that I thought of after we closed it, and I wanted to ask Mr. Tremarco, maybe Mr. Donadio would know. The 2 reductions in the side yard setbacks
Yes,
to 14 feet.
yes.
I noticed the one in the lot to the south, the reduction was on the north side of the lot, which is the adjacent property.
Right.
But I believe the one on the north, the reduction was also on the north side of the lot, which would be another property.
Can you bring that up? Let's take a look at the surveys. Is that 6'8"?
That should be,
That's 6'8".
that should,
Yes. Okay.
and which side is the 14 foot?
The south side, correct? Right on. So they're really both 14 feet. One is 14.8, one is 14.9.
Correct, but is the are they both on the adjoining lot line is my question?
Let's go to the next one.
I guess you want to give the neighbors the most relief,
Exactly.
the 16 feet.
Correct. The disinterested neighbor.
Yes.
I just love this, you can hardly
This
see
is
it.
the first site, this is the second. So the 14-foot side yard on the second property to the south is adjacent to the first property
Correct.
to the
I
north.
saw that.
Yeah.
And then what about the other one?
The other one has two side yards that are both 14.8, 14.9 feet.
Okay, so, all right, so that one didn't have a larger.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Then it doesn't. Okay, thank you. So I'll make a motion to approve 19068 and 19069 as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve both cases. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, 4-0 on both cases. The second case was case number 19069. Next case is case 19071, June and Peter Pacheco.
Case 19071, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, 4-0. Next case is case 19074, Emily Hogeman.
19074, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Before, I
No.
just have one comment. I happen to know the architect very superficially because my boy and his boy played ball together. Should I just abstain from voting? I mean, it's 3-4 years ago.
No.
Okay, fine. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I don't, that's your question, but I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
I would think not also, that's why I didn't say anything, but I wanted to make sure the rest of the board was aware before we voted.
Were they good?
The song was pretty good ball player, yeah.
I had to recuse myself to everything.
Okay, did you make a motion, Tony?
Yeah, and I seconded.
Okay, motion had made, motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, 4-0. Next case is case 19075, Shana and George Condalis.
19075, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, 4-0. Next case is case 19076, Thomas
Amodio.
Amodia.
Amodio.
No action. Next case is case 19077, Antonio Ferro. Oh, it's pending.
No action.
No action.
I believe it's no action with this comments.
Yes, that was the,
I think the previous one was the
I
encroachment.
think it was just, was that what the encroachment was? Which one was that? Sorry. 77. Yes, we just wanted the minutes,
Okay.
so.
Okay, so no action. Next case is case 19078, Patrick Murphy.
Case 19078, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, 4-0. Next case is case 19070, 89 East Main Street LLC.
19070, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, 4-0. Next case is case 19079, Hampton Inn.
Case 19079, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve as presented. Been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, 4-0. Next case is case 19073, 2092 Holdings LLC.
Case 19073, I'll make a motion to approve with the condition that site improvements from the previous site plan be completed prior to did they get a CO?
I don't believe they have a CO, so that would be prior to obtaining a CO.
Prior to obtaining, well, okay, that's like belt and suspenders.
Yeah.
All right, just second, Adrian?
Second.
Okay. Motion has been made to approve with conditions. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0. Next case is case 19072-295 Osa Avenue LLC.
Case 19072-295 Oser Avenue LLC. That was the one that we had adjourned. I'm going to make a motion that we close the hearing. I think that the application actually calls for this tent that Mr. Donadio is saying is on site. And I believe there was an issue with the fire marshal, but obviously that really doesn't have bearing on the Board of Zoning Appeals. I guess he'll have to work it out with the fire marshal. So first, I guess we would have to close it. So I'll make a motion to close the application.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0.
And on the merits, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion has been made to approve as presented on the merits. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0. Next case is case 19053, 5 Crooked Hill Road, LLC.
Case
Crooked Hill.
19053, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0. Now on the back of the page,
Your favorite.
first case is case 18900, Natan Alantis.
8900.
I think Sabrina has some information that
Yes.
we should
I
put on
don't
the
know if it was
record.
in your packet, but we did a little study on what in the area what the existing setbacks are, and based on that, we suggest that if the proposed two-story, single-family dwelling, that's 4,904 square foot gross floor area, with a 75-foot front porch and 7 bedrooms, is set back 60 feet or less from the property line, then the subject application may not impose on adjacent residences and negatively impact community character.
All right. So we need a secret, or it's a type 2?
It's a type 2.
So case 18900, Metahan Eslantes, I'll make a motion to approve with the condition that the setback is a maximum of 60 feet from the front property line.
Second.
Motion has been made to approve with conditions?
I don't believe Mr. D'Amato is
No.
present for this, right?
No.
No. Okay, so.
Motion has been made to approve with conditions. It's been second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried 3-0. I don't think he's been here for the rest of these.
Yeah.
Next case is case 18995, Alexander and Ryan
Hold on.
Pignata
Find
and
that one.
Tola.
Good, you could, I
It's,
couldn't.
September 12th. Uh-oh.
I had a hard time finding some of these in my book.
I don't think I have my notes on it. I don't have my notes from 9/12.
I couldn't find mine either.
You have anything, Blaze, on this one?
Toto. Okay. So the property's located in Fort Salonga. It's an existing house. The house was built prior to the requirement of a permit or CO. The house, I believe, is lawfully non-conforming. They wanted to do additions to it. There was questions whether or not that if the property was subject to an LWRP determination. After considerable review by the building, planning, and DEW departments, it was determined that it did not need an LWRP determination. It is a type 2 action, so the board can vote on the variances as they see fit.
So we were just waiting on Secret.
Yep.
What is an LWRP again?
It's the Local Waterfront Revitalization Program. So properties that are located within a certain distance from the Long Island Sound or from the Nissaquag River are subject to review under that portion of the ordinance. And it's a little bit more strict in terms of how many square feet you can build, how high you can build, and certainly how close to any body of water you can build.
So it's not just the proximity to the sound, it could be to a stream or river or something like that?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, case 18995, I'm going to make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, 3-0. Next case is case 19023, Jody and Robert Avanti.
Case one,
We're just waiting for a sequel.
yeah,
This-
I had no issue with this
Yeah, I
one.
have no problem with this one.
Case 19023, Robert and Jody Avati, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, 3-0. Next case is case 19055, Thomas Assis.
That was just the last hearing, wasn't it?
Uh,
Or 2 hearings ago?
It was the last hearing and the hearing before.
Yeah,
Two separate
two
applications.
separate applications. yeah.
And we were just waiting on the,
Secret.
yeah,
This application is from the January 9th
Yeah,
meeting,
Steve-
January 12th?
16th, I
The
think.
16th? Oh, because, yeah, that's right, we got
Right.
pushed back. I don't know if Paul was here for that one or not.
No, I
would say
think he
not
came to the next
originally,
one.
no. This is
Okay.
only my second meeting. so-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion for case 19055, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried, 3-0. Next case is case 19056, Michelle Garnett.
I had no problem with this one.
Yep, I have nothing.
Case 19056, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, 3-0. Okay, this is case 19058, Thomas Assis.
Today's the 13th, the last meeting was the 23rd of January.
Yeah, so Paul was here.
Yeah, so it should be.
Paul, that should be 4-0, Paul.
How do you
You
vote
could
on
have
that?
voted on that one.
I could have, then
Yeah.
I'll say aye.
Okay.
All right, so we'll change it to 4-0? All right, so case 19056, 4-0. Next case is case 19058, Thomas Assis.
Case 19058, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to approve as presented. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I think Paul can vote on
Yes.
that.
Yes,
Because
you can.
I'm aye also.
4-0, approved. And the last one is
5-9.
case 19059, Robert DeCosta.
You're actually not voting on this application. You heard this at the previous meeting on January 23rd and approved it with a condition. And the condition was that the applicant was going to plant type 2 plantings along the side and rear of the garage that was under construction.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently, the applicant is concerned that they don't have the space in that because of the existing buffer that's on the property to the west and to the north, that the plantings really would not benefit anybody, especially since the property to the north, I believe, is a Town of Smithtown recharge basin. So we are asking the board if you want to, if it would be all right for that condition to be removed or rescinded from your approval.
Was that a request from DEW?
It was. It was.
What was to the other property line? I remember
There was a house to the west, which did have a rather substantial tree line along that property line. Additionally, I believe that the garage in question was all the way in the rear of the property, so it was all the way in the rear of the property adjacent to it.
well, we were just going by the recommendation that DEW
Yep.
had given, so if planning feels that it's not necessary, then that's fine with me, anyway.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, too.
Is there anything that they have to do to remove
We
that?
have
Do they need to revote it? Do they have to do it with the applicant
We have
present?
to reopen it,
No,
huh?
we can open it, change it, close it.
Okay.
So case 19059, I'll make a motion to reopen.
Second?
Motion has been made to reopen the case, number 19059. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried 4-0.
Now, on the merits, I'd like to make a motion to remove the condition that we had placed on it to install type 2 plantings on the side and rear property lines. And that was the only condition, I believe.
Correct.
So it will be approved as presented.
Second?
Motion has been made to remove a condition. It's been approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried 4-0. And that concludes the hearing for tonight.